Kane here, and in this one we're gonna inspect the Void Mirror and the new equipment that people would be able to get and whether or not we may be using some of them. So I have I guess went to the newest stage and I tried it a couple of times with my PvP formation, and unfortunately it was pretty hard, but it seemed like it was doable but not perfect. Like I would pass it after a few tries, but perfect is a very long way from reaching that. Perhaps if I played Sylvani and borrowed, say, Swordman from a bit higher core and had Virion with Revival, then it would be possible. However, it is a pretty decent way from actually be, or rather, it is actually pretty long way from being able to perfect it with my own formation. So the equipment, not the store, the rewards. I've checked it a little bit before, and the rewards for perfecting or even passing are actually quite decent depending on previous stages. So the first item, the Oath's Grasp, reduces evade chance of enemy melee units in front of the hero by 10% when the battle starts. So the thing about this is that it lasts, I suppose, entire battle, and you put this thing on some sort of a tank or in front of your a burst side on one of the gladiators or whatever. Now, this is quite questionable whether or not you may require this or need to use this. The thing is, when you go into your options, you go into the general settings here, and then you go this display text for crit and more in battle. If you toggle this, you're gonna start seeing misses in your match. If you don't toggle this, you're not gonna see the misses. So essentially, you kind of assume that nobody is missing or so. But when you turn this on, I tried it on the phone, there are actually quite a few misses, even with like 200% accuracy. Heroes likely have like 100, 150. So there are some misses, and say Valerie's damage can also be missed. I'm not sure if area damage from mages can be evaded, but I know that Valerie's basic attacks and etc. can be evaded. So yeah, that is something to keep track of. So that was the first item. Then we have Karmic Resolution. I do believe this is one which heals Katana or stuff like that, but essentially if you're gonna be going for, say, healing route, I'm not even sure if this equipment is going to be used. Likely like a 2-piece of Drake set and a band of Bishop, or a 3-piece Drake set or so. Dragon Hearts, not really gonna be used. You use a Drake set or so you want to use that, a lot more powerful than that. Hell's Pardon, also the same thing with Tisaphen, Drake sets, 2+1 or so, or you're gonna use a 2-piece set and another trinket which likely would disarm or debuff or stuff like that. I doubt that people would use that, and if they would likely just use a full Drake set. So increases accuracy by 15% every 15 seconds, up to 3 times after the battle starts. Now this is for rogues, I do believe, or wait, it doesn't say bow. Then it is sort of a question, since it's might and command, whether or not you may require it. But then again, you would have to test against some of the people or enemies or evasion chances or whatever that you're facing, and whether or not your rogue is actually missing quite a decent amount of damage. But I do believe that heroes have like 100 to 150% accuracy, maybe just a little bit more. So I'm not sure if something like this would pose a very huge value. Rift Absorption, again, similar thing with the others. If you would use him, you likely would just go for a full Drake set instead of those equipments. Blood Depth, same thing. We would use Drake set. This one, unsure if people use Mira for DPS, I think she's mainly like sort of acting as a tank slash debuffer slash trinket or other prism array carry or so. So I'm not really sure if you want to go for damage on Mira. Morphing potion, I do believe people just use a full Drake set. I think whenever your account will be able to reach this point in the game, you're gonna have like 5 to 6, maybe 7 Drake sets. I personally have, I think, 8 right now. So there would be quite a decent amount of choices if you also go to Drake or play Lucky Wheel or stuff like that. A hero bonus deals 20% extra magic damage to large units. So this one is a better version of let's say what's it called? I'm not sure. Let's just quickly check. I didn't need to exit. I think let's just go back in. I do believe I have it on my Ophidia. That staff. I'm not entirely sure on the name of it. What? So it's this staff. Outgoing damage against large units is increased by an additional 10%. So it's an upgrade to this one, which you can buy with the event coins and whatever. At least I would think. I mean, 10% affects like majority of it. So essentially can affect the snakes as well or something. But then again, this one is also quite interesting because it does extra magic damage. So would assume that it would be something similar, unless the outgoing damage would also affect HP percent, while this one would not. I mean, everything will be left to testing. Then we have Skeleton Mastery. So essentially, you would not really focus Gazul with a full Drake set unless you would really have a lot of equipment and stuff like that. So having this on a robe is actually friggin' crazy good. Because this doesn't take away the trinket, this doesn't take away anything that would be useful on Gazul. So this is actually pretty friggin' decent, not gonna lie. Probably a lot of people playing Lich would require to use it, but I think quite a lot of people are actually just going away from Lich at the moment. Burning, not gonna be used. A Rift Field, also not gonna be used. If you use Palace, you at this point in time, if you really are going to use Palace, you likely will just have a Drake set on him. Karmic Volition. Let's just quickly check. I'm kind of mistaken on a few of the abilities with similar names. Oh, so that's the ultimate. I'm not really sure. I just run a full passive build Kitano. I already have too many skills, and I just usually miss a few of the skills if I have too many. So I'm not really sure if that is good. I mean, it depends how big your screen is and stuff like that. But for me, I don't think that is good. I just run a passive build on him. Grants nearby range troops a magic damage shield equal to 8% of max HP. So you will likely require to place 2 paladins now near the archers. There is one shield at I think 200 void stage, and now you have this one, so multiple shields, multiple damage increases. The archers can become fairly tanky and evade a decent amount of backline damage because you have a ton of artifacts. You have a ton of trinkets. You have even shields now granting so much reductions and resistances. It's pretty interesting. Corrosive Potion, you likely would use a Drake set. I'm unsure if these ones would be like very, very good, but if you really don't have a spare Drake set for her, I think this one affects the armor reductions and stuff like that. I don't really have her at the moment. So in such a case, you likely will be wanting this. But again, if you use that hero, majority of the people would have a Drake set for her. Iron Shield, unlikely to be used. Vengeful Gaze, you're not going to use that at all, since I do believe it's one of the worser abilities on Tisafin. Full Moon, you're not going to be use it unless for some reason Fenris becomes a huge tank and also a DPS, which in majority of the cases he just dies in one hit from literally any DPS whatsoever. And then increases attack speed of friendly dragons. The thing is about this ability, at the current moment, the dragons don't do that much damage. The other thing, the attack speed thing would increase the physical part of the dragon in terms of basic attacks. Now, if you have Aura Blast, which increases damage taken of the enemies, you're not going to be doing any basic attacks whatsoever. So this particular thing is just going to be useless in that formation. Now, if you would not have an Aura Blast, then the dragon would do some basic attack damage in between proccing of other skills, but then you're gonna lose a lot of buffs on your field, or rather debuffs on your field, like Aura Blast proccing, say, Swell, which then further does some damage, area damage, procs his own stun, CCs, silences, and also, of course, removes the magic resistances and stuff like that. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the equipment. Honestly, there are a few decent choices that we may implement in the very future in terms of our formations. Likely, I would also start using archers, so probably I will start trying to implement some stuff in terms of archers as well. But yeah, that's pretty interesting, and I do believe there are some decent choices in terms of the Void, but very hard to say when we would be able to clear them. Perhaps I will swap to Sylvani or Human in terms of like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I might borrow some troops and see how far I can get. Cause Lich, no casualties, impossible. Like even those spearmen, they just literally 100 to 0 skeletons, and yeah, that's not gonna be an easy way to pass that. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. That was just like my review of the new equipment and stuff like that, as well as tips. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care and stay safe out there.